62 wins for Izzo.
Man, that's a bunch of wins.
Man.
You know who else has a lot of wins too? I meant to give him a big shout out over there. Oakland, Coach Campy, man.
Yeah.
He top 10 all time. And nationally.
Really?
Yeah, man. He been there, of course, he been there about 40 years, but you got to get a man his credit, man.
And a whole lot of coaches.
And a small program.
And a small program, but it's not a whole lot of coaches still around like that.
Right, right.
And, we've had conversations about Izzo and where we think Izzo ranks amongst the all-time coaches, all-time great coaches. And, with the 663 wins, how impressive that is. His time at Michigan, Michigan State over 30 some odd years at that program. All the great players that he's coached, from the Mateen Cleaves to the Jason Richardsons, all those guys. I mean, fantastic players. Has gotten guys into the NBA. Did a great job of recruiting, but only one.
He needs
one natty.
He needs another.
How many national championships?
One.
And he. With that being said. You can't put him in there with former coach from North Carolina,
Roy
Williams,
Coach
Jay Wright. Those guys
Coach
got 2+.
Almost.
Can't do
Hurley.
I
mean,
right.
He don't have the
wins, but he got the chips. He got the chips. And I've been one, and although I didn't attend Michigan State, I love Coach Izzo. I met him a few times, just by him coming up to UAD over the years. Every time we get a new coach, he seemed to be at the press conference. When Davis got hired, and now we got Coach Montgomery over there, who's trying to build the program back up. But it's like, I don't know, man. When do you let it go? When do you give all his assistants have gone on to get head coaching jobs, but nobody has taken over Michigan State.
But don't you think, he's still around because he hadn't won another one? He wants to win another one?
He wants
How many did Jim Boeheim win? 1, 2? And I don't know if he was forced out or whatever, but he's out. He's gone.
So Boeheim won one with Carmelo.
He didn't.
And he lost one with Coleman.
And he lost one with DC.
Yeah. Now, Izzo has been in what?
2? A number of times
in the Final Four.
He's got.
How many times has he been in the championship?
At least 2 other times. I think so. They lost to
Carolina
1 year with that team with Corey Lucius and all.
So he's been in at least
He's been in it. He's
2
been
or
in
3 championship games.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think sooner or later you got to give another guy opportunity to turn that program. I'm not gonna say turn it around, but they just might need a new voice, man, some new blood.
Well, the guy's 70 years old, man, 600 some wins. How much longer do you think he has to go?
Yeah.
I don't really know too much about college basketball, but it seemed like in the culture of college basketball, like making it to the Final Four is considered like a successful season.
And he does that.
It is.
Yeah.
And he's doing that every 4 years. He's doing that.
Right. It was a time that if you went to Michigan State, you were guaranteed to go into a Final Four if you stayed there 4 years.
If you stayed 4 years, you was going to make a Final Four. He continues to reinvent himself. And although you missed this era of NIL and this transfer portal era.
No, he get a check.
Man,
it ain't like what they get, but he get a smidget.
Yeah, man. This
is residual.
Residual. Right.
But it's got to be tough to build teams in this kind of environment, though.
Yeah.
It look like recruiting is different now because you got to keep the kids for the whole 4 years. Especially I feel bad for small teams or smaller schools because you can develop a kid for 2 years and he have a good team, and then a big Ohio State, Michigan are coming, offer him an NIL and just take them.
Yeah. Yeah, and they gone.
Yeah.
They gone. What do you, I got to give it to Izzo. To be able to do what he's doing in this era of transfers and NIL money and kind of do it the way he's traditionally done it. When I watched them play the other day, you can tell some of the systematic things that he's accustomed to doing. The sets that he runs and really getting, I saw more pick and roll from Michigan State than I think I've ever saw from Michigan State ever, right? So he's changed some things and sort of adapted to this new way of playing, but he's always shot the three and he's always rebounded the heck out of the basketball. But he's been able to do it and keep guys. He's got a handful of kids who's been on this roster for 3 years or 4 years who are main guys. When you look at that Michigan roster, man, every one of them guys is new.
Well, let me ask you this. Are the Michigan State guys pros?
No.
That's why you can keep them.
No, they're not.
You get you a couple of guys, 1 or 2 guys, that's one and done. So he's, and once again, we haven't really touched on basketball recruiting, particularly here in the state of Michigan. But I don't see any one and done guys on his roster for him to have an argument or have a fight to say, hey, kid, you need to stay.
But it's even beyond the one and done. You got the portal. So if a guy comes in, doesn't play that much, he can get up and leave. Like he's been able to he's had a couple, like Pierre left, right? Pierre left a couple years ago, probably into a better situation at Butler. Probably a place he probably should have picked coming out of college.
Right.
I mean, coming out of high school. Cater more to his ability and the way he likes to play the game. But for the most part, it's the same roster Izzo has. I mean, it's pretty impressive what he's been able to do. So now, granted, to your point, these aren't one and done guys, caliber guys.
Right.
These are, that second tier, getting some guys to play a little bit better than getting some guys who probably aren't right there, probably on that cusp, and keeping them and being successful.
Well, let me ask you this, and you do your homework on it more than I do. Bates, wasn't Michigan State his top option
Coming out of high school
was his game suited for Izzo's
absolutely
style of play?
On the offensive end?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now,
All
where he would have struggled, same place a lot of freshmen struggle are going to be on the defensive
side
end.
of the ball. Yeah.
Izzo would have required him to play defense and play a defense in a way that, it's going to get him ready for the next level.
Right.
But offensively, that length, being able to shoot the three, being able to get to the cup, can post you sometimes.
So Izzo will let you play your game. Well, within the boundaries.
Within the confines of the system,
right?
That he has set forth. And like I said, before, I've seen him sort of, adjust to the new way of playing, a lot of pick and roll, a lot of one-on-one. I've seen him do that more last night than I've seen him doing this program for a long time.
Okay.